What if your ruler tested your intelligence with impossible challenges? What if your queen's wisdom became her greatest downfall? This is the legendary tale of Akkoo Manooyyee, the Oromo queen whose mind was sharper than a blade, yet whose fate was sealed by betrayal. A ruler unlike any other, she was feared, admired, and ultimately betrayed. But why? And how did her impossible test lead to her tragic end? Stay with us as we unravel the gripping story of Akkoo Manooyyee, one of Ethiopia's most fascinating and mysterious queens. Make sure to watch until the end, because this legend will leave you questioning everything. Akkoo Manooyyee, the legendary Oromo queen. Akkoo Manooyyee is a legendary figure in Oromo history, known for her wisdom, leadership, and storytelling. She is often remembered for her challenging riddles and impossible tasks, which she used to test the intelligence and courage of those around her. However, her sharp mind and strategic thinking made her a respected and feared leader. She is often compared to other great Ethiopian female leaders, such as Empress Taitu Betul and Queen Eleni, but she stands out for her unique way of testing people with difficult tasks. She was known for challenging the status quo with her intelligence, giving impossible riddles and tasks to those who sought her approval, building a strong and independent Oromo society through strategic thinking. The Queen of Riddles and Challenges. Akkoo Manooyyee was not just a ruler, but a brilliant mind, known for her legendary riddles and impossible tasks that tested the intelligence, wisdom, and creativity of those around her. These challenges were not meant to humiliate, but to teach critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Her ability to outsmart those who sought to challenge her authority made her both admired and feared. Bring me fire that does not burn. A group of men approached Akkoo Manooyyee, claiming to be wise and powerful enough to rule. She wanted to test their intelligence, so she gave them this task: go and bring me fire that does not burn. The men were confused. How could fire not burn? They searched everywhere but found no answer. Eventually, an old man came forward and brought a glowing coal covered in cold ash, still warm but not burning. Moral of the story: wisdom is not just about power. It is about thinking beyond the obvious. Fetch me water without a container. Another time, a young warrior wanted to impress Akkoo Manooyyee and prove his worth as a leader. She challenged him: bring me water from the river, but do not use a container or any object to carry it. The warrior tried using his hands, but the water slipped through his fingers. After much thinking, a young girl came and soaked her clothes in water, then wrung them out in front of Akkoo Manooyyee. Moral of the story: there is always more than one way to solve a problem. Thinking outside the box is key. Find me a rope made of sand. One of the most impossible challenges Akkoo Manooyyee gave was, make a rope out of sand and bring it to me. Many people tried, but of course, sand could not be woven into a rope. Finally, a clever man came up with a trick. He wet the sand, shaped it into a rope, and let it dry in the sun. It held together long enough to present to Akkoo Manooyyee. Moral of the story: even the most difficult tasks can be solved with patience and intelligence. Catch the wind in a basket. A proud warrior once told Akkoo Manooyyee that he could accomplish anything. She challenged him: if you are truly great, go and catch the wind in a basket. The warrior tried everything but failed. Then, a wise old woman filled the basket with fine dust and walked into the wind. As the dust swirled in the air, she said, "Here is the wind in a basket." Moral of the story: intelligence is more valuable than brute strength. Bring me the sound of silence. One of the most profound tasks she gave was, go and bring me the sound of silence. People were puzzled. How can silence have a sound? Then, a thoughtful young girl came forward and stood still, listening. After a while, she said, "The sound of silence is the whisper of the wind, the rustling of the leaves, and the beating of our own hearts." Moral of the story: sometimes, True wisdom comes from understanding things that cannot be seen or heard directly. Why did Akkoo Manooyyee give these tasks? Akkoo Manooyyee's impossible tasks were meant to encourage critical thinking and problem-solving among her people, test the intelligence of those who sought power, prove that wisdom is more important than strength. Her ability to outsmart others and inspire creativity made her one of the most legendary Oromo figures in history. Her stories continue to teach life lessons to this day. Akkoo Manoyyyee's influence on Oromo governance. Gadaa system. She lived during a time when the Gadaa system, the traditional Oromo governance structure, was highly respected. Akkoo Manooyyee was not just a queen known for her wisdom and impossible tasks. She played a crucial role in shaping the governance, justice, and leadership traditions of the Oromo people. Her influence is closely tied to the Gadaa system, a traditional democratic system that the Oromo have followed for centuries. Through her wisdom, problem-solving skills, and leadership, she challenged norms and influenced decisions that shaped Oromo governance, especially regarding leadership selection, justice, and women's roles in society. Strengthening the Gadaa system. The Gadaa system is the Oromo people's traditional democratic system of governance. It operates in cycles, where leaders, Abagada, are elected every 8 years, and power is transferred peacefully. Akkoo Manooyyee played an advisory role in this system, using her wisdom to test and challenge those who sought leadership. She introduced critical thinking as a leadership trait, ensuring that those in power could think before acting. Her impossible tasks were not just riddles. They were tests designed to filter out weak leaders who lacked intelligence and problem-solving skills. Her belief that wisdom was more powerful than brute strength helped shape the way leaders were chosen in the Gadaa system. Justice and fair decision-making. In Oromo society, the Gadaa system includes a strong legal and justice system, where disputes are resolved through discussion and fairness. Akkoo Manooyyee was known for her sharp mind and fairness, which influenced how justice was delivered. She emphasized the importance of fair trials. No one should be punished without proper reasoning. She challenged corrupt judges by testing their ability to solve ethical dilemmas. Her stories and riddles became lessons in justice, ensuring that people made decisions based on wisdom, not personal gain. Some elders even used her stories to settle disputes, asking people, "What would Akkoo Manooyyee have said?" Women's role in leadership and decision-making. Akkoo Manoyyyee's influence was a major challenge to the male-dominated system of governance at the time. She proved that women could lead and contribute to decision-making in the Gadaa system. In traditional Oromo society, women had roles in governance, but they were often limited. Akkoo Manooyyee expanded these roles by showing that wisdom was more important than gender. She advised leaders and became one of the first female figures to influence major decisions in governance. Because of her influence, women in Oromo society gained greater recognition in leadership and justice, leading to the development of Siiki, a women's institution that allowed Oromo women to defend their rights. Her impact on future Oromo generations. Even after her tragic betrayal and death, Akkoo Manoyyyee's influence lived on through the Gadaa system. Her stories and impossible tasks became part of Oromo oral traditions, teaching future leaders the importance of wisdom and problem-solving, elders and judges how to approach justice and fairness, Oromo women the power of intelligence and leadership. To this day, Akkoo Manooyyee is remembered as one of the most intelligent and influential figures in Oromo history, whose legacy continues to shape governance, leadership, and justice in Ethiopia. The betrayal and tragic death of Akkoo Manooyyee. Akkoo Manooyyee was not just a wise queen. She was a symbol of intelligence, leadership, and strength among the Oromo people. However, her wisdom and influence made her a threat to some powerful men who did not want to be challenged by a woman. Her story ends in betrayal, as those who feared her power plotted against her and led to her downfall. While details about her exact death remain uncertain, Oromo oral traditions offer different versions of her tragic fate. The jealousy of the powerful men. Aku Manooyyee's intelligence and ability to outsmart others earned her both admiration and enemies. Many Oromo leaders and warriors respected her, but some powerful men saw her as a threat. She could solve any riddle, making men feel inferior to her intelligence. She challenged the traditional role of women, proving that wisdom mattered more than gender. Her influence over leaders made some men fear losing their power. These jealous men secretly conspired to remove her from power, believing that a woman should not be so powerful. The false accusation and betrayal. Seeing that they could not defeat her in wisdom, her enemies decided to use deception. According to legend, falsely accused her of witchcraft and misleading the people. Spread lies that she was using her intelligence to control leaders unfairly. Turned some of her allies against her, convincing them she had become too powerful. Akkoo Manooyyee was summoned for a trial, where her enemies had already planned her fate. No matter what she said, the decision was made. She had to die. The execution or forced suicide. Different Oromo oral traditions describe various versions of how Akkoo Manooyyee met her tragic end. Executed by the same people she had advised. Some say she was sentenced to death and executed publicly to send a message that no woman should challenge male authority. Poisoned by betrayal. Others claim she was given a poisoned drink, which she accepted calmly, knowing her fate was sealed. Tricked into suicide. Another version says her enemies tricked her into taking her own life, convincing her that she had no escape. The immortal Queen of Wisdom. Although her life ended in betrayal and tragedy, Akkoo Manouyyee's wisdom lived on. She became a legendary figure in Oromo history, and her name is still spoken with respect and admiration. Her riddles and impossible tasks continue to teach problem-solving and intelligence. Her story serves as a lesson about power, betrayal, and the struggles of strong women in history. She remains a symbol of Oromo culture, leadership, and the importance of wisdom over force. Even though her enemies tried to erase her, Akkoo Manooyyee became immortal through the stories, passed down by generations. However, even after her death, Akkoo Manooyyee remained a symbol of strength, wisdom, and intelligence for the Oromo people. Her legacy lives on through the oral traditions, proverbs, and stories passed down by generations. She is remembered as a wise and strategic leader. Her stories and riddles are still shared in Oromo folklore and culture. She represents the power of intelligence and problem-solving in leadership. Akkoo Manooyyee was more than just a queen. She was a symbol of wisdom, challenge, and resilience. But in the end, was she defeated by her own intelligence? Or was betrayal always waiting in the shadows? Her story still echoes through time, but one question remains. Was she wrong to test her people with impossible challenges, or did they fail to rise to her wisdom? What do you think? Was Akkoo Manooyyee a wise ruler or a victim of her own intelligence? Let us know in the comments.